Today, it became official that global senior pastor of Hillsong, Brian Houston, stepped down. In my previous video, I explained the revelations of indiscretion with two different women that Brian Houston had, which led to his official resigning today. But in a shocking turn of events, another Hillsong pastor resigned today. Coming up, we're gonna give an update on the Brian Houston resignation and who is this other mystery Hillsong pastor and why did he resign? Was it another scandal or something else?
Ruslan.
Two Hillsong pastors have resigned in one day. The biggest breaking news is that Brian Houston has officially stepped down. He was senior pastor of global operations. It's being covered everywhere, and it's a tough time for the Hillsong family. And before we get into the second pastor, read you guys a quick update. This is on the New York Post. It says, in a plea for forgiveness, this church leader has stepped down multiple times. Apparently he had multiple positions and then stepped down multiple times. The founder and former head of Australian-born megachurch Hillsong has once again made a public show of stepping away from power, this time amid multiple allegations in the form of the resignation. January, he stepped aside because of a trial that he was going to. He didn't report with his dad, apparently. And now came out that he violated the church's own code of conduct. And so he's officially stepped down from this. And of course, there's the Hillsong docuseries coming out in a couple of days. This came out from the website directly. It says, we'd like to advise you that Pastor Brian Houston has resigned as global senior pastor of Hillsong Church, and the board has accepted his resignation. Hillsong was birthed out of Brian and Bobby's obedience and commitment to the call of God. We're extremely grateful for them. In addition to Family Resignation Church, Hillsong has purged his preaching from his website. The religion-based news site Protestia reported. So that's interesting that they put out the statement. They said that they appreciated their service and this whole bit and announced that he has officially stepped down, but then they pulled all of his preaching from the website. So I don't really know what to think of that. You know, it's very, very confusing. And again, what happened, apparently what led to this was there was two separate situations where Brian Houston apparently was in an inappropriate manner with women, text exchange, seemingly kind of like flirtatious, emotional affair type of thing. And then when he took some anti-anxiety medication out and mixed it with alcohol at some gathering and ended up in a woman's room for 40 minutes alone, saying nothing sexual happened, but nevertheless, apparently that breached their own code of conduct, and obviously the stuff that he still has to go to trial for with his dad. So this entire situation is super duper messy. There's one thing I'll point out that I think Brian Houston actually did well in this situation. I know there's not much towards the end, so make sure you watch till the end. But the question that I think a lot of you guys have is, who is this other pastor who stepped down on the same day? Now, there's been multiple folks that have stepped down. Carl Lentz has stepped down. I believe the Hillsong Dallas pastor stepped down. So I discovered who the other pastor is who resigned from Hillsong today. 9 months ago, Global Hillsong helped plant a church in the metropolitan area of Atlanta, Georgia. And Pastor Sam Collier took on the reins of lead pastor. So I reached out to a friend of mine who's actually pastor of apologetics at Hillsong Atlanta. So this is Pastor Lambert giving me the inside scoop of why Pastor Sam Collier officially resigned from Hillsong.
There's been negative press surrounding Hillsong over the past 2 years or so. We've only been here 8 months, and as a new church plant, the only equity that we really have is trust. With all of the negative press that's kind of rolling around, we can't build like this. It's going to be very hard to build with so many people distrusting the ministry or distrusting the leadership. And so for us, it was more about trust, because we're going to have to spend the next 2 to 3 years rebuilding the reputation, the credibility, etc. And we're kind of ready to go now.
There's no bad blood. You know, we love Hillsong. They've been amazing to us. We have a great relationship with them. The people's natural inclination is to pit us against each other. That's totally unwarranted. The relationship is still intact. The love is still there. We're still a family. Just had to do what was best for the ministry. That's all.
That's Pastor Manny Lambert, a friend of mine. Some of you guys may know him as rapper The Truth. And basically what happened is I got an internal email from the Hillsong Atlanta family saying this was about to happen. I checked in with Pastor Manny, and then by the time I checked in, Pastor Sam posted this on his Instagram. It is with great sadness that I inform you of my departure from Hillsong. I've appreciated Hillsong family. I want to thank the Houstons for the love they have shown Tony and me, my greatest reason for stepping down as pastor of Hillsong Atlanta. It's probably not a secret to any of you. With all the documentaries, scandals, articles, accusations, and the church's subsequent management of these attacks, it's become too difficult to lead and grow a young church in this environment. I have no shame in admitting I cried like a baby moments after I informed the Hillsong global pastor of my departure. I truly love the Hillsong family and believe they will get through this storm and come out better than they were before. Join me this Sunday, and catch this, join me this Sunday at Center Stage, which is the venue they use, for our final service as Hillsong Atlanta, and for more info about a new church I'm planting, relaunching on Easter Sunday called Story Church. So there's a new logo for it, Story Church right there. Okay, I'm not speaking on behalf of Pastor Sam. I'm not speaking on behalf of Pastor Manny. That's kind of a gangster move, okay? To put in your resignation from Hillsong Atlanta, which Hillsong Global started and helped them fund and helped them launch, and then relaunch a church the following week on Easter Sunday. You know, if this whole thing's come down, well, we're just gonna pull away from Hillsong and legally go on and be a different church under a different umbrella. I think that's good, and I think it's great that the global Hillsong family isn't getting in the way of this, that there's no legal liabilities here, there's no sunset clauses. You'd be surprised how these situations could work with this model in business. So the fact that they're letting him go as their own independent church, I think is a good thing in the grand scheme of everything that's happening here. Because remember, a lot of these churches all over the world, but they function as independent churches, meaning that they have a central theme and aesthetic to them with the Hillsong kind of quote unquote brand, which is a weird word to say around churches. However, they do have head pastors who do preach. They'll have different worship people. They're autonomous. And so the fact that they could go on and be autonomous, I think is good. So shout out to Pastor Sam. I don't know Pastor Sam personally, but I think this is a good thing that they can move on and be an independent church outside of the Hillsong umbrella. And if there's one thing that I think Brian Houston did well in any of this, is I feel like he did not build the Hillsong name on his name the way that kind of Mark Driscoll did with Mars Hill, where he was the figurehead. And then this is going to allow the folks that don't want to be a part of Hillsong and want to go, apparently, to just be able to go, which, believe it or not, again, I think it's a good thing, because I think you're going to see the ministry that's done in Atlanta continue to be done outside of all of the public scandals happening in Australia, stuff happening in New York, which doesn't have anything to do with the good work that they're doing in Atlanta. And I know quite a few people that have gone to Hillsong Atlanta in the past 8-9 months since they've started. I have quite a few friends there. Again, I consider Pastor Manny, who's a pastor of apologetics there, a friend. And I think they're doing some good work. And so I'm happy for them that they can kind of slide out and launch a new church and utilize some of the same infrastructure, utilize the same staffing, the same core team, and hopefully, God willing, grow from here. I think it's a wise decision to pull back and become an autonomous church. I would like to hear from you guys in the comment section in terms of all of this. I think this could be a good thing. So those are my thoughts on it. Let me know what you guys think, all right?
Kingstream Entertainment. Ruslan.
Thank you so much for making it to the end of this video. We have some free resources, including a free How to Study the Bible course. The link is in the description, as well as a free course I put together with my Christian therapist, Dr. Rudy, called Master My Habits at mastermyhabits.com, helping you in freedom forming habits. Check that out, link in the description. Some of these other videos recommended from me to you. All right.